Hi there, I have some fun scrapbooking inspiration for you, and I've been cracking up looking at the photos, deciding which ones I wanted to, scrapbook, and as I was printing them. So my husband even walked in, he's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'm just cracking up at this memory. We were in Disneyland and we're riding the Under the Sea ride, which is The Little Mermaid, and it's not a great photo. It's pretty blurry, but I'm cracking up, and it has something to do with this gentleman in the background here. So funny, and I can't wait to document this story. So my son Hayden and his girlfriend Desiree were with us, and you can see Hayden's all smiles there. And then in the next one, look at his expression. Now, that's not just happened to catch him frowning. He's scowling, and I'm going to explain why, because that is the funny part of this adventure. I'm actually going to add a couple glue dots so these don't shift around on me. I am using a sketch design from my friend Jema. We have team challenges, and she designed a sketch. It was actually our February sketch, and I haven't created it yet, so I can't enter in the challenge, but that's okay. I can still create the sketch, and that's like a win-win, right? Because you always, when you get another scrapbook layout done, that's like winning a challenge and adding another album or a layout to your scrapbook book. Here is a look at Jema's awesome sketch. So I'm actually going to switch this up. Oh, we've got Brian coming through. This is a rare sighting. That's not Dave, that's Brian. He's a little bit more elusive. We call him Baby Mountain Lion because he looks like a mountain lion and he behaves like one. In a good way, just kind of sneaking around. He's not out there attacking things. So you can see we've got two photos here, and I'm going to put that one in this spot, and then I don't have another horizontal photo for that location, so I'm going to do this one and then use the remaining space for my journaling. And then we've got two horizontal 3x4s. I'm going to use a portrait style 4x6, and then there's my 4x4 there. So kind of the same footprint, but I'm switching it up to work with my photos. I have the Friends of the Ocean paper collection here, and this is going to be absolutely perfect for documenting this memory. I was actually inspired. One of my crafty team members, Regina, she used one of my monthly sketch challenges, and she documented this ride using this paper, and it was like a light bulb went off. I'm like, oh, that is going to be perfect. And it's so fun when we can inspire each other. So these two pieces, I'm thinking they're not quite long enough. If I'm following the sketch exactly, they're wide enough, I should say. But I want to use these up. They're actually left over from, I used the rest of it to make a bunch of cards, which turned out so cute. But I thought since I have these strips, I think it's a good opportunity to use them for the sketch. And then this one, so I'm going to put my busier pattern on the outside, and then we need two strips going across the center. So let's kind of bring these back in. We've got lots of oranges in here. So this one, I think this is long enough. This was gutted out from this pattern paper, so I used that as a frame style layout, and that's why it's so great to take a moment to gut your patterns, because I can cut this into strips for this particular project. I like the orange, definitely brings out all of the orange in the photos, so I'll go ahead and cut that down. So these are going to sit something like this. And then I want to bring in more of the greens, and I don't have any left in this paper pack. So we've got a lot of pinks and oranges, which are so fun, but again, I just want to kind of bring in some of the greens to my layout design. So I'm going to go thumb through my other pattern paper and see what I have. I found the perfect pattern paper in my stash. So this is actually the Unbounded Beauty collection, which was featuring the in colors for 2024, and it's a floral paper collection, but this is just a great visual texture in this same color. So you can see the orange would work really well with this paper pack too. And the opposite side has some, I don't necessarily, actually, that kind of goes. Huh, look at that. So it's fun to be able to mix and match your paper collections. And that's what's nice working with, they're all using, they're different paper collections, but they're using the same colors. So you can easily mix and match them like that. So this is kind of the gist of the layout. And I do have these already printed with or matted with a white border there, but I'm thinking I might want to double mat those, maybe with a colorful cardstock. Let me just kind of bring these in. This is just so funny. You're probably wondering why I'm laughing. Well, I'm going to ink up the edges really quick and I'll tell you a little bit of this story. So again, we're writing Ariel's undersea adventure. We had just gotten coffee and my husband wasn't finished with his, so he was outside enjoying his coffee. And Hayden and his girlfriend Desiree were in one little seashell cart and I was in the cart in front of them. So the carts kind of pivot back and forth and they rotate you around. And this gentleman in the cart before me catches sight of me and starts hollering out, "It's the real Ariel," because of my long red hair. So he's pointing and he's excited and he's waving and I wave back and we laugh and have a good time, right? Well, it doesn't stop. He is pretty excited. I mean, he was harmless. It was hilarious, but he kept going on about the real Ariel. Every time my seashell cart pivoted back around to Hayden's face, I would just bust out laughing because he's just kind of mad dogging this guy. And then my cart would roll back around and the guy would say something about Ariel again, waving his hands. And this just went on for the whole ride. You guys, it was so funny. More on the story in a moment, but back to the layout for now. I inked up the rest of the pieces and got them lightly tacked down just to hold them into place. I might do some background stamping here, so I want to be able to lift that up and have the stamp coming out from behind there. And then everything is matted on Summer Splash cardstock. And, you know, it's subtle because that kind of blends in with the background, but it does give it a little definition against these patterns here. So now we're kind of ready for the fun embellishing process. My title's going to go here and then journaling here, or I could scoot this photo over and use this spot for journaling, depending on how much room I need or how that might end up looking. For my embellishments, I've grabbed several stamp sets here. Ocean Friends, which coordinates with this collection. So it's a stamp and die. I've got the sea turtle stamp and I brought this one in thinking maybe I might use that to stamp on the background there. And then my favorite Seaside Wishes, absolutely beautiful stamp set. And then we've got another good one here, Beauty of the Deep, which has great images for adding some background interest, little bubbles. And then all of these have dies too. So I actually already used this die. I've been using this collection so much. Where is it? I think I have it set out already. Here it is. So I have several images already stamped and die cut out. So these are all stamped and using the coordinating layering stamps here. No, wrong one. Got things everywhere. So these layers, so that's what these are from. But the dies also coordinate with the pattern paper. So if you just want to skip the stamping, you can die cut these out. And then I have several of these little coral images, and I'll probably bring in maybe some of the little seaweed bits there too. So I die cut these in orange because I'm wanting an embellishment cluster down here, and this will show up better on the background. So now we get to just kind of play and see where we want these items. Maybe I should start with the background stamping first and kind of see how that goes. So the reason why I might move this one over too, so we could put it here and then put my journaling here, but if I have any embellishments, they'll stand out better over here. So that's why I might bump this over, have a little bit of journaling, and then kind of, attach my embellishments here to the journaling bit. We'll see. We'll have to let it develop. For my background stamping, I am going to create what I like to call a test piece. This will allow me to see what it looks like before fully committing to stamping it on the layout. So I have Coastal Cabana ink, and this is the background image here from that sea turtle stamp set. And I'm going to fussy cut it out. You do not have to be careful, just kind of hug the edges. Again, this is just a test piece that I'm going to move around to see how I like it and kind of vary the positioning to see how much I want showing above my little orange strip there. So we can go ahead and tuck this under. And there's, more of a swoop on the top side. So maybe I don't want that. Maybe I want more of a gradual slope. And I created another one for the opposite side so we can see what that looks like. And I do like it, but I'm wondering what it would look like kind of all the way across. So let's see how we have some coral layered over the top of that too, because I know I want a cluster here. And I like that little stamping peeking out from behind the coral piece. So we've got a lobster, lots of different things to embellish with on this layout. It's always so fun having all of these bits and pieces to embellish with. It's my favorite part. For my title, I turn to print and cut. This part here, the real, is printed and cut out, and then I just cut out the word Ariel from Melon Mambo cardstock. So in Cricut, to do this, I created my image, and then I created an offset, and then removed the Arial layer and flattened the offset and the part that says the real. So that way that part is print and cut, and then this part I can cut out and layer right over the top. The font I used for the word Arial is a free font from dafont.com, and it's called Autumn to Remember. I'll put that in the description box below. But yeah, it's free. You just download it to your computer and you can use that, and it's gorgeous. I stamped out some sand dollars in Melon Mambo. I love adding these to a layout. It kind of finishes off the cluster quite nicely as your top layer, kind of like a flower would cover all of your leaves coming out of your cluster. So I want to see what this looks like going all the way across. So let's borrow this piece and tuck it in over here. And yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to continue that all the way across the top border there. So I barely tacked down that orange paper, but I think what I need to do is go ahead and get that stamping done. So I'm looking at where that is hitting on my Versamat. Let's go ahead and gently lift this up, and that'll just make it so much easier. I could have just peeled it back, but since it was coming up easy, we'll just bump it out of our way. I'm drawing a pencil line just below where that paper was arranged on my layout. And now I have that same Costal Cabana ink. And what we're going to do is put this on the edge of the block to make it easier to get it up underneath that colorful strip paper on the left-hand side there. So I'm lining it up with my pencil. Actually, I want that side down. Now I'm on the wrong side of the block. Let me clean that off and position it back to this side of the block here. That's just, again, it's making it so I can get it under there and I don't have all of that excess block because I'm having a hard time getting the pattern paper on the left up. So I'm going to stamp that on a piece of paper really quick just to test it. And now we can go right to the layout. Give it just a moment. Looks great. So we're going to repeat that another time here. And I'm flipping it. Actually, you know what? I like this side. We're going to go with that same side facing up. And now I'm stamping out the edge. So we're going to slide my little scratch paper here. And then I can just ink up the edge of this and go across. I'll get the other side done off camera so you don't have to watch me repeating that whole process there. Now, I'm not sure I totally love both of these orange coral pieces poking out. So what if we just rip that down and make it a little bit smaller? You don't have to keep it the whole size. Now, this might fit over here in this embellishment cluster nicely, but we'll wait on that until we bring in the journaling. Maybe up here. Lots of places we could tuck that. That's kind of cute. I do have my little lobster guys here. And, I also have from the Beauty of the Deep collection, I have this gorgeous piece of coral in here. So these are left over, but that actually matches. I think that is Berry Burst, which is a deeper color, but I kind of like it. It's deeper than the Melon Mambo, but I think it goes. So let's tuck that in there. I like that. And then maybe this smaller coral right here. Sometimes the embellishing process can be the longest part of the layout, and at some point you just have to say, okay, I'm happy with it. I went ahead and printed out my journaling and matted that on Melon Mambo. And I also cut out a bunch of these little seaweed sprigs from the Ocean Friends set, and we can tuck these in. There is seaweed in the Seaside Wishes Stampin' Die set too. These are cut from lemon lime paper, which is in the paper on the right and left side, and also the color of the little clamshell that I'm writing in the picture there. This ride, it's such a fun ride. Of course, I love The Little Mermaid. I can remember when it came out, the original Disney Little Mermaid, and my little brother and I went to see it in the movies, and I just loved it. Loved it. So it was pretty fun for this guy to call me the real Ariel, right? And yes, I know someone's going to ask, this is my natural hair color. My dad was a redhead, and I inherited it from him. Both my boys are brunette. I did not pass it along, although Hayden here, when he grows a beard, it's got a lot of red in it, which is pretty funny to me. I'm trying to arrange these so they're working with the text in the journaling there. And then I included that photo in the lower right of me walking away. My son's girlfriend, Desiree, actually took that of me walking onto the ride. And I thought it was perfect because it shows my hair, which is what this story is about. Since I introduced the Berry Burst color in the top cluster, I want to add a touch of that in the others. And then I want another crab. So again, this is a layering stamp, a two-step stamp. We've got the outline and the base. So I have pumpkin pie and peach pie. And I find it easiest to stamp the outline layer first and then fill it in with the base layer, or whatever's darkest. You want to stamp your darker color first. So pumpkin pie for the outline, and then peach pie, which is lighter, we will stamp the base of our crab here. So it's kind of hard because I can't get my head in your way, but we'll line that up. Give it just a moment there. That looks pretty good. And then, you know what? I don't think that's the color I wanted. So in the catalog, yes, it is Petal Pink and Calipso Coral. That little crab looks good too, but I'm trying to match it to the crab in my upper cluster. I wanted it to be the same color. So we'll try that again. So we've got our Calipso Coral, and now we have Petal Pink. There's all different color recipes in the catalog, so you can refer to those for different ideas. And perfect. I'll just put that orange one back in the envelope and he'll make it onto another project. So I die cut him out. We'll put him right here. And now I want to add some bubbles. So I've got those on a block here. Before I add my little bubbles, I thought it would be really funny to stamp a word sentiment down here. And I have this stamp from Hiba over at My Little Journal. She does a lot of stamps for like journaling, art journaling, and just planner stamps and things like that. But I thought I'm going to go really, and then how about no underneath here. And I think this is going to be perfect. So I'm going to stamp backwards so that my spacing is correct and do the how about no in Coastal Cabana here. And then I'll use the Melon Mambo for the word really. I think this will be super cute. So I'm going to try not to get my head in your way. So how about no? This is just so perfect for what Hayden was thinking. Now we'll switch to Melon Mambo for the question, really? Can you just imagine? He was 19 at the time these photos were taken. So imagine that teenage eye roll with like, really, Mom? I am going to add these little bubbles and then also bring in some coordinating embellishment dots to mix into my clusters. I'm going to go ahead and read you my journaling here because it's pretty funny. We were cruising along on Ariel's undersea adventure, just vibing with the sea creatures, when the guy in the clamshell next to me suddenly starts pointing and loudly declaring, "It's the real Ariel!" Not once, not twice, multiple times. Desiree and I were cracking up, but the real comedy gold was Hayden's face. Pure, unfiltered annoyance. I caught a glimpse and completely lost it. But the guy wasn't done. Oh no, he kept going, absolutely thrilled to be in the presence of a real-life Ariel. Hayden's face just got more serious by the second. When we got off the ride, Hayden hit us with a, "Bruh, like really? I'm surprised he didn't ask you for a photo." The guy was having fun and completely harmless, but I will never forget the look on Hayden's face. And my friends, this is exactly why we scrapbook. Anyone looking at these photos years from now would have no idea of the fun time we had and the shenanigans that were happening behind the photos here. So it's perfect that Desiree happened to catch the guy in the frame of that photo too. When I asked her to send me any photos, she was like, "Oh yes," when she realized he was in the picture. Super funny. And there's my son's very annoyed little face there. A big thank you to Regina for inspiring this layout, and thanks to Jama for coming up with such an awesome sketch design. Do you have any stories where your teenage boys were being protective over you or just super annoyed with this situation? I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, guys. You can find all of the supplies listed below.